I was at Running USA a couple weeks ago, and somebody was making the comment that, geez, you guys are releasing a lot of software. And I said, we kind of have this kind of massive parallel processing machine. So the way we do development is we try to segment it out into little pieces and we give individual developers small little projects at a time. And so what that does is it allows us to have all of our developers working on different projects simultaneously. And so you get this kind of inherent feeling that, geez, there's a lot of releases that are happening. And we do about 2,000 releases a year. Right now, it happens to be kind of even an accelerated way. And I think there's kind of three primary reasons. One is that there's a little bit of a backlog. So in 2023, we actually did a lot of development on projects that never saw the light of day in 2023. And we did it for most of the year. And it was done by highly talented developers. So basically, those people were working hard for a year, and not much of what they were working on was actually public. And so those three projects that are coming out is Websites V2 for races. We've had that in tickets, but now it's mature enough to bring it into races. But to bring it into races is kind of complicated because there's all these features that are in races that we have to put into the Website V2 product. The second one, and that will be like a major step function in terms of the website capability that we give our customers. The second one is the next generation membership platform, which is we've had a club platform for about 9 or 10 years that hundreds of clubs across the U.S. use for about 150,000 members to manage those members. We're basically upgrading that in a major way, kind of all modern technology. It's going to be a great release, and we're in beta in that now. And then the third one is something that we refer to internally as MTE, multi-day timed entry ticketing. So a lot of our customers that use our ticket platform are using it for multi-day events. And those multi-day events might even have multiple time slots on a per day basis. And if you think about that, it's like you've got this, you have potentially like thousands or an infinite number of events that are happening at, potentially forever. And so we've come up with this really unique, interesting database architecture for handling that in a very, very efficient way. We're applying for our first patent ever that we've created, and we're 14 years old, and we've developed a ton of really good technology, but this is like the first one. So that is going to start to appear, and it's really cool, not just from the scalability data architecture, but the user interface is going to be all calendar oriented. So it's going to be very intuitive for users who have that type of event. They'll be able to see how many tickets they've sold very, very quickly on a per day basis or per time slot basis, and what their availability is, what the caps are, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be really cool. So that's kind of one thing that's happening. A second thing that's happening is that our development team is just kind of getting more efficient as we go along. And that comes from just people working in the system longer. It also comes from better and better reusability of our components. And it also comes from kind of increased tooling that we have. So, we've got an increased amount of tooling like unit tests or like static code analysis systems or code sniffers that just make developers that much more efficient in writing clean and good code. And then we've got this kind of learning culture. So every Friday for about 2 hours, the development team gets together and different developers will go through the details of what they're actually working on. They'll dig into the code and they'll talk about the problems that they're having, or they'll talk about the solutions that they came up with. And so everybody starts to learn more and more about the system, and everybody kind of shares, what they're learning. So everybody kind of becomes smarter and smarter as a result of that. And then the third thing is that several years ago, we started on this concept of, we call it internally generic entities. But basically, it's this idea that you can reuse code and reuse components across the entire platform. We've got one single platform. It's over 2 million lines of code. It's over 2,200 database tables. But what we've done is structured the code increasingly from a reusability point of view. And I think, customers are pretty used to our email right now. But when we add a new feature to email, it simultaneously, that email feature goes across races, it goes across memberships, it goes across tickets, it goes across give sign up for peer-to-peer events. And so with one feature, we're actually supplying like 4 different revenue streams. So it allows us to generate more revenue, which allows us to hire more and better software developers and to grow our team kind of incrementally, and to make sure that we're paying our existing team, frankly, very well, so that they have no reason to leave. They can stay here and kind of continue to learn, continue to create great software and so forth. So yeah, we are. What's kind of amazing is in the endurance space, especially, we've kind of got superiority in terms of feature functionality, and what's happening is that we're actually developing more and faster. and what's also happening is that we're becoming very, very efficient. And so it allows us to keep our price very low. So in the endurance market, we're now like functionally superior to everybody else, and we're lower in price than all the major competitors, at least.